Have you ever felt like your mind was working against you? Like you're stuck in the same patterns, same bad habits, same fears, and no matter how hard you try, you can't seem to outthink your own brain? Yeah, same here. But what if I told you, you can actually hack your mind? Like real-life Jedi tricks, backed by neuroscience, psychology, and a little bit of madness. And today, I'm about to tell you the true story of how I discovered 5 weird but insanely powerful ways to take control of your mind, and how they changed my life in the most unbelievable ways. It all started in a basement. Literally. I was crashing at a friend's place after a rough patch, no job, no plan, and definitely no motivation. I was depressed, anxious, and caught in an endless doom scroll loop. I couldn't focus, couldn't sleep, and I was sabotaging every tiny bit of progress I made. One night, staring at the cracked ceiling of that dim basement, I asked myself the dumbest question, and yet, the one that kicked off everything. What if I could hack my own brain? Like, reprogram it, somehow? I dove into the deepest corners of psychology forums, neuroscience papers, and ancient philosophy rabbit holes. And what I found blew my freaking mind. Here's how I hacked it. Here's how I flipped the script. The first mind hack I discovered was something called thought labeling. Sounds simple, right? But it's ridiculously effective. I was always at war with my thoughts. Negative self-talk, anxiety spirals, mental noise. But then I read about a Buddhist practice backed by MRIs. If you label a thought, just say in your head that's anxiety or that's anger. You shift it from the emotional part of your brain to the logical part. You're basically dragging a wild bear out of the forest and into a science lab. So I tried it. The next time I felt like a worthless failure, I paused and just whispered internally, that's shame. Instantly, it felt smaller, more manageable. I started doing it all the time. That's fear. That's craving. That's boredom. Over time, I became less controlled by the thoughts, and more of an observer. And being an observer is power. It was like flipping the lights on in a haunted house. Now, mind hack number 2. This one's wild. It's called the mirror trick. And yes, it sounds like something out of a horror movie. But stay with me, I was reading about how your brain doesn't fully know the difference between imagination and reality. Athletes use this. They visualize success so vividly that their muscles actually fire as if they're practicing. But here's the twist. I found a neuroscientist who suggested doing this in front of a mirror. Every morning, I forced myself to look into my own eyes and say out loud what I wanted to believe. You are disciplined. You are not your past. You're building a new story. The first time? Cringe. The 10th time? Still awkward. But the 50th time? I started to believe it. Not because I'm delusional, but because repetition rewires the brain. It's like laying down a railroad track in the fog, one plank at a time. Mind hack number 3 changed my relationship with fear forever. It's called reframing physiological responses. Hear me out. You know that racing heart, sweaty palm, shallow breathing feeling? That's not just fear. That's adrenaline. That's what your body does when it's ready to fight. Turns out, the only difference between fear and excitement is the story you tell yourself. I tested it on a date. I was nervous, palms sweaty, thoughts spiraling. But instead of thinking, oh no, I'm anxious, I told myself this is excitement. My body's gearing up. I'm on fire. I leaned into it, and it worked. I smiled more, cracked jokes, felt alive. I started using that trick before interviews, workouts, public speaking. I even told myself I'm excited to clean my room. And weirdly, it started to feel true. My body hadn't changed, but my story did. That hack alone? Life-altering. But the 4th hack. Oh man, this one is gonna sound like science fiction. It's memory rewriting. Not erasing, rewriting. I found this story about trauma researchers who figured out that when you recall a memory, it becomes malleable for a short time, like soft clay. So if you intentionally recall a bad memory, and then inject new context or emotion, you can soften the pain. I tested it with the worst moment of my life, the day I got rejected from my dream school. I used to replay that moment in slow motion, like a punishment. But this time, I replayed it and added new meaning. I told myself this was the start of something better. This forced me down a new path. And guess what? That memory changed. It stopped hurting. It became a plot twist instead of a failure. The brain is a storyteller. If you change the story, you change the feeling. You can be the editor, not just the actor. And finally, mind hack number 5. This one is the most powerful, and also the hardest. It's called identity-based habits. You see, most people try to change their behavior. But if you don't believe you're the kind of person who does those things, you'll self-sabotage every time. I wanted to wake up early, be productive, stay focused, but I kept failing. Until I asked a different question. What would a focused person do? And then, I pretended I was one. Even if I didn't believe it yet. I didn't try to be productive, I tried to be the kind of person who is productive. That tiny shift created a feedback loop. The more I acted like that person, the more my brain believed it. Habits aren't just actions. They're votes for who you are. Every choice is a vote. And eventually, if you vote enough, you become it. So yeah. 5 hacks. Thought labeling. The mirror trick. Reframing fear. Memory rewriting. Identity-based habits. Each one, on its own, helped me climb out of that basement, both literally and mentally. Together, they changed my entire life. I didn't become some perfect productivity machine. But I became someone I actually respected. Someone I could believe in. Now maybe you're listening to this in your own version of a basement. Maybe it's a breakup, a burnout, or just the feeling that your mind is holding you hostage. I'm not here to sell you some magic cure. But I am telling you this. Your brain is hackable. Your story isn't set in stone. You don't have to wait for motivation or luck or someone else to fix it. You can start reprogramming today, one tiny mental vote at a time. And if no one's told you this lately, you're not broken. You're just running an old script. Time to update the code. If that blew your mind even a little bit, smash that like button and share this with someone who needs a mental upgrade. Drop a comment with your favorite mind hack, or one that worked for you. And hey, if you want more crazy true stories about science, psychology, and wild what-if questions, hit subscribe and stick around. New videos dropping every single day to get your neurons firing. Until next time, stay curious, stay weird, and remember, your mind isn't the limit, it's the launchpad.